Hi there, this is my week 6 big concepts video for EDMA 262. So the big concept this week was place value. I actually found this week surprisingly difficult in a way that I understood what place value is and I know what it means, but I found it really hard to express what I had in my head, what it meant, into words, and both written and spoken. So this week it took me a while to think about what I wanted to say and work it out. So, place value is essentially, here's my definition, the system that is dependent on the system that a number, depending on where it is located, represents the physical amount. So that sounds really complicated, but to me it makes sense. So what I'm really trying to say is that where a number is located in a number, where a digit is located in a number, represents how much it is. For example, if there is a 1 next to a 0, so 1, 0, it means 10. If there is 4, then a 5, then a 0, 450. That's what I'm trying to say when I say that definition. It was hard. I did have to watch a couple of other videos and watch them how they explained it first before I picked up my own way to explain it. This is what I sort of said at the start when we were watching the lecture video, when we had to pause and write our own definition for place value. I wrote place value is a system that defines how much a number is worth. So I was on the right sort of track, but once again you can really see that I had struggle explaining what I actually meant. I also thought it was really interesting. I never knew what a base 10, base 3, base 5, I knew what they meant, but I never really thought about where it was practical. For example, when we're talking about the clock, how it's in base 12 and then base 60, that makes sense. And obviously we're a base 10 model because we have 10 fingers. And I never thought about how it works off the digits. That's the reason why I always just thought, oh, 10's 10, then we move on. It just makes it easier. Once again, we've focused on mental computation, and I think it's important to remember that we do teach formal number at schools, but we also do focus on this informal number, and that's really the main reason we teach the maths. It's for students to be able to mentally computate in their everyday lives later on. I also wanted to talk about how where square numbers and cubic numbers come into it. It obviously, for children, they don't need to know about the exponent, but I think it's important because obviously you create those numbers and children will start to see how it's a square number or a triangular number, and it's important that you know the reasons why for this, because this multiplied by this equals that number, therefore it makes a square because it's exactly the same on both sides. Also, the concept of prime and composite numbers and odd numbers. The way that odd numbers were explained, that they don't have a pair, is brilliant. I never thought about it before, but it makes sense on a grid that the prime numbers always, the odd numbers always don't have a pair, and the even numbers do have a pair. It's things like this I hadn't thought about or considered, and it was really great to sort of all of a sudden process it myself. I think it would be really, you do need to focus on the MAB materials. I was doing some research about different things you can find to teach place value, and I found that really the MAB materials are the easiest and quickest way to go about it, rather than grouping. Once obviously you pass when children understand what they mean, it's really the quickest and, I don't want to say only way, but it's probably the best way to sort of go about it. I was also surprised how in the syllabus it's taught in year 1. I never thought it would be, but it makes sense because children need to start working with tens and they need to understand what is 10, how do we go above 10. So obviously in year 1 we start off with tens and we go up to hundreds and thousands, but I think it's interesting how I never considered that place value, the importance it actually played in smaller numbers. I only really thought about it in terms of big numbers. So really this week was an interesting week for me, and I don't really have much more to say because I think personally I'm still processing it in my head, a lot of the information and the number materials, but I think it's made me realise just how important place value is, and like it said, I keep calling it maths, place value is the mother of all maths concepts because it does actually affect every other concept that we've done up till now, and it will continue to affect it onwards. Thank you.